From Affordably Crafty. I have a different kind of video today. I'm going to be starting possibly a series on this channel about affordably cooking. I'll show you how I turn that beautiful stock into a very affordable soup. So hey, if you're new here, welcome. My channel is all about teaching you how to stretch your craft or food dollar and be affordably crafty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram and join my Facebook group where I post about all my steals, deals, and freebies I find in my travels in the crafting world.
When I'm making soup, I like my veg on the chunkier side so it doesn't fall apart and disintegrate in the pan, if that makes sense. And you'll see these are just rough cuts. No fancy cutting here. Keep it generally the same size is what I say. Don't stress about it being uniformly perfect, because in the end, the taste will be amazing. Whether you cut itty bitty, just same pieces, or you just rough chop it, right? Definitely when I make a soup, I'm always putting in celery, carrots, and onions, right? Okay, here's the white part of the leeks. Again, I'm rough cutting these. You definitely do not want to cut these way too small because they will like fall apart. And kind of squish them in your hand so they kind of come apart a little bit. This green bowl came from my grandmother's kitchen. Has a lot of sentimental value. And then the carrots. I just cut in half the bigger pieces to kind of make them generally the same size. But all these vegetables in the green bowl will go in the pot first because they take longer to cook. See, here we are again, rough chopping. Rough chop, 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 chop. It's fun to watch myself sped up. Oh, I will link down below the video on how to make my Scraptastic veggie stock. If you have not checked that out yet, please do. That is the base for this soup. Kale, yeah. I am from Southern Mass. Soup contains kale. The end. It also tends to be pretty cheap. You can stack them on top of each other like this. I definitely do shreds on this, like strips. Otherwise, it takes freaking forever to cook, trust me. You don't want raw kale in your soup. Tastes horrible. Nobody wants to be chewing on that for a year. So this is going to go separately because this is going to go in second. You want this to be cooked, but not cooked to death, if you know what I mean. Or if you don't want to be as particular, just kind of put it together and do some shreds this way. It's not an exact science. Yep, so I'll have the video down below for my Scraptastic stock. And you can very easily just put whatever veg you want in here. I had the carrots on hand. I had the onions on hand. What did I buy at the store? I bought celery, kale, and leeks. And that was it for this soup. I had the rest on hand. Definitely affordably cooking at its finest. I just happen to have 2 onions left, so that's what's going in there. The onions also go in here with the carrots, leeks, and celery because they take longer to cook. It's nice watching myself chop fast.
Okay, so the reason I put these in 2 separate bowls, this is my grandmother's bowl. Isn't it pretty? I definitely have some good memories with some of her kitchen items. My Grandma Jan. The reason I put these in 2 separate bowls is the leeks, the carrots, the onions, the celery, and what else did I put in here? I think that was it. Will cook at it'll take them longer to get soft for the soup than this kale will. So I don't want to put the kale in the same time as these harder root vegetables because this is going to be not even cooked when that kale's done. And I'll put the mushrooms in with that kale too because they don't take a long time either. And again, it's whatever vegetables you have on hand. I had 2 onions left over, so I used 2 onions. I had the leeks I bought at the store. I had carrots already at home. I got the celery. I got the kale. It was on sale. I got the mushrooms. They were on reduced. I love buying clearanced out vegetables. If it's going to go bad and I'm not going to use it soon, I will just freeze that all day. All right. So let me get back to making this soup. Oh, and a great way to make it stretch. We have a rice cooker. And if you put rice in there with it, like the jasmine rice that we have or whatever rice you choose, it will definitely stretch it. But I don't like to put the rice in with the soup. I like to put the rice in once we're going to serve it. Because I find that if the rice just sits there, it gets kind of mushy and not so yummy. So I'll cook a batch of rice and I will hold it on the side and then add it when the soup's heated up or whatnot. Usually soup here lasts 3 or 4 nights. I love eating soup. It's one of my favorite meals. But hey, as always, if you have some left over after night 3 and you're not going to eat it on night 4, freeze it. All right, see you in a few. Okay, so here we have about 4 liters of my homemade scrap veggie stock. And into that, I'm going to put the green bowl of veggies, which was more the root vegetables. So this has the carrots, the leeks, the onions, and the celery in it. I'm going to put this bowl into this hot stock because I just finished making it. If you want to know how to make this stock, I will link the video down below on how that affordable money stretcher is made. All right, we're going to put all these in here. Be careful you don't splash yourself. Don't just dump the whole bowl in. And again, we can use whatever veggies we have on hand. I definitely try and pick ones that have a dual purpose where they help flavor the stock, and veggies for the soup if it's a day that I'm making the stock. And these are going to go in 2 different waves. So these root vegetables are going to go in first. I'm going to let them simmer for probably about a half an hour, and I'm going to come up and check it. So simmer meaning on probably like medium. I have an electric stove. And then I'm going to come up, and when these are starting to get tender, I will add the kale and the mushrooms because those don't take as long to cook. Now I feel confident with dumping some of this in. And again, these veggies are going to cook down. But look at how beautiful that is. Oh, amazing. Just poke it down so that most of it's below the waterline. And we're going to put this on uncovered. Now keep in mind the stock is still pretty hot because I just made it on medium. And I'm going to set a timer and I'll be back in a half an hour to check on this. Doesn't it look so good already? Oh my goodness. All right, see you in a minute. Yes. Okay, about 40 minutes later. And that is starting to look good. So I'm going to put in kale.